So Stuart, Friday marked the end of our first ever season in the Scottish Lowland Development Football League. Are you happy with how the season's gone?
Overall, very happy. I think if you told me before the season kind of the success that we've had this year, I'd probably bitten your hand off it. I think you look across the season in terms of, I'll go on to it, but some of the nights that we've had, some of the performances that we've had, and kind of success and the integration with the first team that we've had, I don't think it could have gone much better, to be honest. It's a young group, it's a group that majority kind of be here next season, and you look at kind of, as I say, the results in the park, the progress. I genuinely think you probably couldn't ask for a lot more. I think towards the end of the season we probably could have given a better account of ourselves against Harrington and Whitburn. They're probably two quite similar games in terms of how they went. But across the season, if you look at where we finished and kind of success we had with getting boys into the first team, no, I don't think we could ask for a lot more than what we've actually achieved this year. So I'm delighted, yeah.
Before the season, Stuart, started, did you have any specific aims or objectives for this season?
To be honest, no. I actually remember last season talking to the boys at 17s that I had last year, and we kind of talked about jokingly in terms of like what position and things, and we probably talked about mid-table and kind of that, and no being, I think we're all realistic in the sense that we knew the challenges that we're going to be up against, and we probably all realised that you wouldn't be the top end of the league very quick at this level. But so no, probably not. I think genuinely my aim kind of coming in this year was just to go and compete every week, and again we'll go on to it. But I don't think we did that at the start of the season. But now kind of you look towards the end of the season, there's not been a game we've not been in. Even the games that we lost recently, kind of Harrington, Whitburn, we've both had spells in that game where we've got the game back to kind of near level scores, and we've played well and created chances. So. No real ambitions to the start of the season, like actual set objectives. That'll be easier for this season coming, or new season. But we probably didn't set any really. We just kind of hoped that we'd be competitive every week, which I think we've shown we have been, to be honest.
So in the first half of the season, we had some really tough nights. The lads have shown some great character, resilience. You must be really proud of your guys.
I am. I know we like pride in what a group and what a team quite a lot on the social media page and things, but they generally are a really, really good group. There's players out there who faced with those challenges and faced with those setbacks this season would have crumbled. Getting beat 8-0 on Fife and getting back at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night is not for everyone. And to be honest, I was thinking back since to Jack and Josh and my dad and Smudger, but I don't think there's really been a part of the season where we've looked at our dressing room and gone, we've not got ability in there. Like throughout the whole season, we know the ability we've got in that dressing room. We know the talent. To be honest, it has been to some extent doing the basics properly more, but also kind of the side of the game that you probably is not as pretty to coach. I'd say the defensive side, being aggressive, kind of getting uptight to a man and kind of standing up and being counted in that sense in a game. But there's now been a point in the season, I know that it's easy for me to say, kind of position we're in now, and it's probably the fairy tale thing to say, but we generally have never stood down when we don't have enough ability in the game in our dressing room to go and compete. I think it's probably we've had to improve on the ball and out of possession, but to be honest, like there's never been a stage in the season where we've thought, geez, they're a lot better than us technical. We've got good football players and we've shown that all season. These boys haven't improved tenfold like that overnight. They've improved definitely, but we've always had ability, and we've probably never gone away from that. It's been doing the basics properly, going back to basics, and the boys have done really, really well. I'm really proud of them, because there's some boys who I say would crumble, and it's probably testament to what a good group they are. They believe in each other, they're good kids, but guess what? They're good mates as well, and they all get on. And I think if that wasn't true, we wouldn't have seen the progress that we've seen this year, to be honest.
Stuart, since the turn of the year, we've been beaten 3 times in the league. The lads seem to have turned a corner. What do you think that's down to?
I think I've said this in kind of a few of my updates. I think that we've just, to be honest, along the way we've brought in a few really good additions. Big Leo, Yashu, Big Kier coming in. We've made some good additions along the way, but the boys have learned, the side of the game that's probably not as pretty and it's not as No, it's nice to coach. I'm not saying that in a nasty way, I just mean out of possession, how important it is to be organised, how important it is to be aggressive without the ball. I think also we've probably learnt how to be better, how important it is to be better in the top end of the pitch. I think when we've got chances generally this year now, we're taking them. Maybe not towards the end of the season, we've probably not scored as many as we could have, but certainly kind of from January, probably I'd say to April, we've probably, when we've been ahead in a game, we've got ahead and we've stayed ahead and we've probably learnt how to stay ahead. I probably use Fauldhouse as an example, and we beat them 5-0. I think we went 2-0 up in the first half, and Declan's made a fantastic save to his left hand side, which is probably the difference, and then we've continued to be resolute till half time and went on to win the game 5-0. Early in the season we could lose that 3-2. There's been other games like that throughout the season where we hit like hell of beef. We in the second half of the season, second time we played them, we went 1-0 down from a penalty, and we could have crumbled. We could have crumbled like we probably did through there a wee bit. Went back and won the game 4-2, and we're brilliant. We're absolutely brilliant all night. So we've probably learned kind of the course football side of it a bit more, and kind of grown up as people. My job's to make better football players, but it's also to kind of install winning mentality for first team football. For me, it's try to prepare boys for first team football, and you do need to install winning mentality and install that side of the game that you need at first team football. So probably put a lot of that down to it. It's the other side of the game that the boys need to learn quickly.
If there's one thing your players have learnt this season, what do you think it would be?
Good question. I think again, it comes back to the side of football. It's not as pretty, but boys have probably learnt this year that, and we've carried a big squad this year, and the reason for that was the start of the season we had to sign. Well, we felt it was only right to sign both the 17s and the 18s to try and create a squad that could compete, but also potentially give boys a chance as best we could. There's still boys who unfortunately haven't stuck by it and things, but the thing that I think a lot of boys this year have learnt that they need to stick by it, and the levels in training, the levels in games matter. I think probably in years gone by, a lot of players they turned up to training twice a week to get a game. Turn up to training, no matter what the levels are in training, they get a game. And unfortunately, this level's not quite like that, and it's like that first team football as well. And again, it is development football. It's about getting boys games. But we need to prepare them for first team football, because at the end of the day, if you look around us, where are we? We're attached to a club like Dunbar. You look at the setup here; it's unbelievable. They need to be prepared for hopefully prepare them for first team football. So at points this year, lads have been disappointed not being in squads and not being kind of selected, not got on, and that's really hard for them. I think an example that I use with boys now is Big U and Corey has been brilliant for us this year. Against Harrington, he didn't make the squad, and he wasn't happy, understandably, but he's one of the oldest ones in the squad. He came and spoke to me on the Monday, had a good chat with him, and he's not come out of the team since. He scored 2 goals as well. He scored the winner against Rosyth, he scored against Whitburn, and he's been absolutely outstanding. But for me, that's a lesson that a lot of boys have seen this season, in terms of you might be out the squad 1 week, get yourself back in the squad, you're in control of yourself at training and games, get yourself back in the squad and you can go and play every week. And Ewan's a great example of that. Ewan was at New Craig Hall Vicks last year. He's from North Berwick, and didn't play that much street last year, football wise. He was out early in the season last. He's come back and he's playing every week, and he was playing every week towards the end of the season after not being in a squad. It's no long term, it's no personal. That's what boys have had to learn, that the levels in training, the attitude, the behaviours are absolutely vital. I've never had a connection with Ewan before the season, but he's coming and he's playing every week because of that's what he's showing. So Ewan's a great example of that, but as a squad, that's what they probably had to learn. And there's been a few sad faces at points this season, but that's the way football goes. That's probably been the biggest learning for a lot of them, is the levels, behaviour, attitude, and just being good people matter around the team and a football club like this.
So the club have been really supportive of the project this season. You must be really happy in how it's gone.
I'm delighted. I say this to our boys quite a lot now, is that I don't think there's actually on the 20 setup that's actually better than this, realistic at our level. And I don't mean that in terms of saying that other under 20 setups aren't good, but what I do mean is the one that we've got is outstanding. How many clubs can you count that will put on a bus to go and go to an away game? These buses aren't cheap, and they cost money, as the training venues, kind of as everything else. Again, I said in my last one, I remember sitting down with Pam, Stuart Robertson, Kev and Glenn Preston, and we just talked about what was actually needed this season, and the club have backed it 100%. It's never been a case of we can't really do that because of money, we can't really do that. It's no chucking money at stuff, it's being supportive of the young boys in this team. But as I say, like for example this year I think we've played in the park 6 times, again more than a lot of clubs will do. You look at kind of even just the integration between the two has been fantastic. Kevin, Dunny, Smalley have been absolutely brilliant in kind of taking an interest and always been involved with the 20s. Like when I go along on a Saturday, I go every week, but when I'm doing the one thing, Dunny was, who's good for you last night, how was training, bits like that. Just I think a lot of clubs will be quite envious of the setup that we've got here in terms of between first team and 20s and kind of that relationship. And then from board level, you still got people on the board coming and watching us every single week. Pam comes and watches us every single week pretty much on the bus or driving up to whatever venue. So there's not a lot of clubs out there who have a better setup or a better supported setup than us. It's not just financial, it's supportive in that sense. Pam's always been to me with whatever you need, let me know. So no, I couldn't speak high enough of this football club and the way they've supported this setup because it's been unbelievable, it really has.
We've had some really good nights this season. Personally, what has been a highlight for you this season?
Probably the obvious one was when we played Pennycook away from home. Then the league leaders, we went and beat them 4-1 and I thought we were great that night. We were absolutely outstanding. Boys were a joy to watch. Defensively we were brilliant. And I thought we created a lot of chances that night as well. For me, again, one of the highlights of the season. Again, probably the reversal when we went and beat Hillbeath at home 4-2. Looked like a different team, and again we created a lot of chances. And for me, the most pleasing thing is seeing progression in my players. Is that early in the season when we played Hillbeath, we probably didn't look ourselves, and well, we didn't look ourselves, and we probably didn't know fulfilling the potential that we did. And those two games we absolutely do. Those are probably two massive nights for me that I was so proud of them in terms of showing that progression. There's other wee bits and pieces along the way. I actually remember playing on here. We played Leith, and we were not great in the first half. We were a lot better in the second half, but it was still only 2-1 and we was huffed and puffed. Couldn't really get that third goal, and I remember Harry started the game at right back, went at midfield. He then went and played a number 10. Literally a minute later, Dan whips the ball in the corner into Jack Clark, and he then blaze on his wee brother to go and score and dink the goalie with an unbelievable finish, and it kind of killed the game at that point. That again was like probably testament to as a group, but also Harry as well, just what a great laddie he is in terms of, you go Harry, you're playing right back, no worries, you're playing midfield, no worries, whatever you ask him to play, he'll play it. And that probably, to fit Harry and a lot of the boys, that's the mentality they've got this year. That for me is really rewarding. That I've got boys who, you give them an instruction, they'll go and do it. They won't go why or why can't I do something else. It's you just follow the instruction, and that for me was a high point because Harry just was his class, but he deserved that as well. I think that was one of his first goals this season. What a finish it was, but again he deserved that from his hard work and his kind of his perseverance throughout the season. He's never moaned, he's never kind of got on at me, just great laddie. So nah, that was up there as well, but some great nights, great performances. I just love seeing the progress. I love seeing the progress, and it sounds quite again like a fairy tale. I just love seeing them happy. I love seeing them happy. I love seeing them getting on with each other. That's one of my highlights as a coach. Yeah.
We are very public this season about our progress, both negative and positive, on social media. Why is that?
It's funny because I've had a lot of people tell me we are the busiest club ever on social media, and we are, but it's for a purpose. For me, what it's all about is going and showing our progress and making it an attractive place for boys to go and play football. I've said this to all our boys. I've said it to the boys that I'd like to bring in. I'm never chasing anyone. I'm not chasing anyone, and that's no kind of being big-headed. That's me saying, I think what we offer is really public and what we offer is really positive. Even the negative stuff, we'll always put a result on. We'll never shy away from putting anything on social media. Highlights, goals, don't get me wrong, the highlights might take a bit longer if they've been beaten, but they'll still go up no matter what. And it's all about promoting a positive atmosphere about the club, and I think that's what we've done really well. As I said to you, like when when the boys come in, even after when we got beat by Hillabreath, the Monday when they came into training, they still had the speaker on and just try to get them back in a good place. It's not all about wins, losses and things, it's about trying to promote a positive atmosphere. We'll do anything and we'll post anything, win, lose, draw, beaten heavily. It's unbelievable positive, and yeah, that probably isn't, it is not how it works at a first team environment as such, but these boys are 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. They're young men, and you need to be positive with them. You need to be hard on them as well, but you need to be positive and give them the praise they deserve sometimes. So aye, it's busy, it's really busy. Some people won't like it, I get that, but it's about creating a positive atmosphere where boys will want to come and play here, and I think we've done that really well this season.
Personally, Stuart, what have you really enjoyed about this season?
I've enjoyed seeing the progress that we've had. I've really enjoyed seeing the boys enjoy seeing the progress as well. I'm quite these, I think Dino made a joke about it after the Pennycook game, but I get quite sentimental about just seeing boys happy, and nothing makes me happy at this level than seeing boys enjoy themselves, having a good time after winning games of football. I've loved seeing the progress as well that we've had in the first team. We've had 4 people make a debut. We've seen Gregor make the impact that Gregor has. He's done unbelievably well. I'm really proud of him. We've seen Adam, we've seen Callum Richards, we've seen Dan Hall all make debuts this year. All lads who played boys club football last year. Have done really, really well. But we've seen 9 players make a matchday squad for the first team. Now there won't be many clubs out there who've done that, so that's really, really positive. But I've loved being involved, and credit to Kevin, Dunny and Smalley. I've really enjoyed being involved with the first team as well and having that integration. I think that's been incredibly healthy, and again, I don't think many clubs have that. I think we're very strong kind of the offering that we've got. I've just loved seeing the boys and seeing the boys make progress, because they really, really deserve it. I've just loved seeing them happy as a group and interacting as a group.
Throughout the season, we've seen the inclusion of first team players. What are your views on having these guys involved?
I think it's incredibly healthy. I know, and I've read online and the bits and pieces that I think there's people that might divide opinion on that one, but from experience, having played 20s and from seeing it this year, boys learn from them. And listen, I'm not naive in the sense of course they improve our team. I'm not here to win games of football, and that's genuinely not the reason why they're there. The reason why they're there is to go and get game time, to go and make sure they're ready to go and go back into Kevin's first team. They're also there to go and stay fit if they're coming back from injury. As much as obviously a coach was, that's incredibly healthy in terms of, so even if I'm on the sideline, right, and I'm giving instructions, Smudger's on the park passing that on as well. It's incredibly healthy for the boys learning. And by the way, who says that hasn't made a massive impact on our boys as well? The fact Smudger playing games and talking boys through the game, that's had a massive impact as well. I think it's incredibly healthy. I understand it takes boys out of the team. I understand boys don't get as much game time if a guy from the first team comes down. But you look at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is that ultimately we want these boys in our under-20s team to hopefully, take these boys' place along the time or in future when these guys potentially are no longer at the club or when our boys progress. Now they need to learn from someone, and no matter what walk of life you're in, whatever job you're in, role modelling, mentoring is massive, and that's exactly what that is. It is about the bigger picture, and it's up to the boys who, if they're not playing, if they are playing, to watch these guys, how they behave, how they act, to make sure they learn from them.
Upon looking back on the season, have you got any self-reflections?
Yeah, a few. I think it was Smalley who said this. I don't want to give him too much credit. But see, after you win, don't get too high. When you lose, don't get too low. I think that's one thing early in the season. I don't think, and it's not me asking for pity or kind of anything else, but I don't think, for me, like when we play poor, like it weighs me like it does. That's probably something I've learnt in terms of actually don't get too high when you win. Enjoy it. Enjoy your. And Smudger said this as well. To be fair, don't go and enjoy your Friday night, go and enjoy your Saturday, go and enjoy your Sunday. When you lose, don't let it weigh on you too much. It's hard to put football down sometimes. That's probably what I've learnt this year. The other thing I've probably learnt is just how important it is to kind of reinforce good values. I'll be honest, I saw on Facebook, I think it was Crossgates in the dressing room had a sign on the wall. I think it's 10 values, like be on time, do extra, be a good teammate, be coachable, those kind of things. And I plagiarised that, and it's now on our wall. So reinforcing good values probably for me, and probably the last one as well is when we were getting beat like heavily, is obviously not trying to show that to the players that's kind of weighing you a wee bit, but kind of as well making sure that you go back to doing the basics. After we got beat by Hillabeath, or it might have been Harrington, I can't remember which one it was. I don't think we came on the Monday they're running. I think on occasion there will be time you have to do that, but sometimes it's about building boys up again as well. So it's just being adaptable, but probably as well when you're going back after getting beat, don't overthink it sometimes as well. Just go and do the basics and make sure your team's doing the basics. I think that's really important. But I've learnt a lot this year. I've really enjoyed it, but learnt a lot as well in that way. It's just probably the first one of the most important things, to be honest.
Moving on to next season, have you started planning for the new campaign?
Yes, I think we started planning back in February, to be honest. As I record this, we've got 16 players agreed to sign for next season, and that's the core of the squad as well, which is really good. I'm hoping one or two might then also join that. We've also got one or two that we're kind of waiting to hear back for universities and things. But we're also kind of hoping to bring a few in as well. Those who we'll bring in will hopefully bring in quality. I'm really excited to see what squad I've got in pre-season, and obviously tonight's our last session, to be fair. I'm just going to do games and things, but I am looking forward to seeing that first kind of session back and that squad, because I think it's going to be even better. I do, and that's no slight on the boys that we've had this year, but no, I'm really looking forward to seeing that kind of squad in pre-season, because there's some exciting players there to watch. So I'm really looking forward to it. We've said all season, like the way that we want our team to go and play is to go and get the ball in the final third quick as we can, go and create chances. I think the most part of the season we've done that. Don't get me wrong, I think we've conceded a few too many that I'd like, and we're going to try and hopefully improve on that. But this season especially, so next season, I think I want to continue in that vein. I want us to be exciting to watch. I want us to go and create chances. I want us to play forward quickly. I think as young players, that's what you want. So no, I can't wait.
To finish, Stuart, is there anything you'd like to say to those supporters who have followed the lads this season?
I would. I generally mean this, like, and I say this again. This goes on the social media pages, and I don't know if people really pick up what I mean by it. But see, when I say, "Come on, get behind the lads," or "Thanks for your support," all the boys in this team are of the age now where they all have social media, they all have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They see the nice comments. So see when we win and they say, "Well done, lads," or when we get beat, "Unlucky lads." Boys all see that and they appreciate that. We appreciate that. That's what I would say. Like, I don't just mean people who come along and watch our team. It's generally people who go and support on social media and things. I think there's been one or two things I have read that potentially haven't been as supportive, but generally across the piece, I think we've had an incredibly supportive base. The club has been absolutely brilliant. And to be honest, again, like, I remember, see, every Thursday night, like when I'm down for training, and before I leave, Tommy Fogel, for example, who's supported the club for how many years, always asks who we're playing, always at our home games, always supporting us. The board members, the kids from the Colts, these are the people who our boys really appreciate, and it's not lost on me, and it's not lost on our boys, I can assure you, in terms of how well supported they are and how well supported this football club is. All of us really appreciate it, and not just that, sponsors, people like that who come and get behind us. We'll have two shirt sponsors for next season, and these people are giving money to the club as well. So listen, I genuinely can't thank everyone enough who's got behind this squad of players this year. It's been a big project. There's been some tough points in the year, but no matter what the score's been, no matter how well we've done, there's always been everyone getting behind the lads. So all of us, I'd say, really appreciate it. Thank you.